I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Have a seat, please.
Your time.
Yeah, I thought I had a blue shirt.
Start with roll call.
Anthony Lipsonsky,
I am here.
Kenneth Hall,
Present.
Bonnie Allman will be absent. Trevor Stone,
Here.
Ronald Glassick,
Here.
Judith Haldeman,
Here.
Jason Donahue,
Here.
Mason Smolinack.
Here.
I'm sorry, I apologize. Julie Kutzler,
Here.
Mayor Anthony Pristash.
Present.
Moving on to approval of the minutes of the public workshop meeting held on October 5th, 2023, and the regular public meeting held on October 19th, 2023. May I have
Let
a
it be written.
Motion made by Mr. Lipsonsky,
Second.
second by Mr. Glassick. Question? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Hearing of persons present. If you have anything to say at this time, step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
There's something on the agenda tonight, I think. Joe Schneider, I live up on Dewey Avenue, half a block from the swimming pool, and it's been going on for about 5 years, but I'm having trouble, our neighborhood, having trouble with the parking from Hudson Court. In other words, when I back out of my driveway and I head toward Laubach, 50 yards, so the front of my vehicle is facing the gates of the swimming pool. I want to make a left to go up Laubach, almost impossible, because the high school kids are parking from the tennis courts down to the corner there of Hudson and Laubach, and it's been going on for about 5 years. I'd like to go too long, but in the last month, I've almost got clipped about 3 times, because when you come out, they're high school kids, but their cars are parked. The other day, a car was parked a foot beyond the curb, the corner of the curb. And when I came out the other day, you only come out about a foot on your vehicle, and I almost got clipped. And this has been going on for about 5 years. And then also, so when I get to the Hudson and Laubach, and I look left to go up toward the high school, you can't see because of, like I said, it's all the cars parked there. And even when you make a right-hand turn, the other day I made twice. It happened to me in the last 2 weeks. I made a right-hand turn to come down this way, and I'm only 50 yards on Laubach, and I saw a gentleman in his pickup truck going like this, and he's thinking, "You knucklehead, you pulled out in front of me," and I couldn't see him. And then a week later, I made a right-hand turn, which is the better of the 2 turns, but I made a right-hand turn, and a motorcycle's behind me going like this. And I'd like to say to both of those people, I can't see you. I can't see you, let alone a motorcycle, a truck or a car, let alone a motorcycle. Mm-hmm. So all I'm hoping that I get approved is a sign where the yellow on the curb is, a sign that says no parking here to the corner. So at least when me or anybody in my neighborhood, we come out and we want to make a left-hand turn on Laubach with no car there, vehicle and a half maybe, at least you have a fighting chance to make a left-hand turn. That's all.
Mr. Schneider, thank you for your concerns, and we are going to address that tonight.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Moving on to President's Report. I do have one item that I would like to bring up, and it's not hard, it's not anything real urgent, but I would like this council to think about not renting our band trailer for 2024. It's really not cost effective anymore. It takes overtime, it takes a lot of preparing to move it, and it's just really not cost effective. And so I'd like for you to think about that and maybe get that on the agenda for next council meeting. Other than that, that's all I have. Moving on to the mayor's report.
Thank you very much. I just want to say that this year's Veterans Day celebration this past weekend has been nothing short of glorious for the Borough of Northampton. The turnout was spectacular, and I must give hats off to Irene Urban and Larry Oberly of the Historic Society for the wonderful job they did with the presentation at the high school on Sunday. It was well done to many levels, especially in reading off 400 names, not in a row, but having 100 read off, the band playing, another 100, the band playing, etc. The attendance was wonderful by everyone that was there, who at some point had a banner up or someone they wanted to recognize. Leroy was there, along with Mr. Kutzler playing his bagpipes. And I know a great time was had there, in the sense that it was the first time they did it on that level. That goes to follow the event we had earlier in the day at the memorial plot. The weather cooperated well, and it was nice to see so many veterans out there also. So one of the keynotes I wanted to hit in my talk was that we have one thing on Veterans Day that we don't have on Memorial Day, and that is that on Veterans Day we get to say thank you to the soldiers who served. Get to say thank you and show them our appreciation by reaching out to them, listening to their stories, helping them out with a part of their day and to make their life a little better, especially in showing that appreciation. So it's a luxury I think we should take advantage of every day we can, not just on Veterans Day. So I was very honored to be a part of it, representing Northampton as your mayor, and to have the ability to speak from my heart as to Veterans Day in my life and how well Northampton celebrates their patriotism and the love of our veterans. So thank you to everyone who showed up, and it was very exhilarating to be a part of that. I also had the pleasure of visiting the high school yesterday, and Mr. Mason, our junior councilman, had a big leadership role in the Volunteers Club that meets immediately after school to discuss the next phase of the Hometown Heroes banner on the Facebook and Instagram page, and I'll let him talk about more of that later. But one thing I took away from that, as I walked through the school, I just thought, well, maybe 5 or 10 people, and I come to walk into the room. It was full of students after school looking to do volunteer work. And for all the bad things we hear about students, all the nuisance as they cause, so to speak, to see this group out there as enthusiastic as they were, as polite and as engaged as they were, really gave me a good feeling that our school's doing a nice job with the students that are participating. And we're building on that. And the evidence is there in the teachers' eyes, it's there with the students, and you need to look no farther than Mason right here, who is just another one of the students there with them who is just looking to excel. And just another student is definitely an understatement. So our students are going to keep us in good hands. So let's be optimistic about that and help them where we can. So that's all I have. Oh, one last thing. We did have a special day yesterday for the men's soccer team who won their first ever East Penn championship over Parkland. So yesterday was the Northampton Area High School boys soccer team day in Northampton, and congratulations to the men for that win. Now that's all I have. Thank you, Council President.
Moving on to reports from committees. Beginning with Mr. Hall. Oh, I'm sorry. What? Oh, I forgot you, Stephanie. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I always forget someone.
That didn't take long.
Every council meeting. Is that not correct? So sorry, Steph. It's not personal.
That's quite all right. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce myself. My name is Stephanie Stewart. I am an attorney with Kadingo and Associates. I've been there about 5 years, and I've worked peripherally with the borough for several years, but I'm really happy to be here. I'm going to be working more closely with you because we'll be saying goodbye to Judge-elect Bryan Pinella, so we want to give him a hearty round of applause. And our good wishes. He's going to serve the county very well in his new role, and I'm excited about that because I'll be able to continue to work with him in that capacity. But it's an absolute pleasure to be here. It'll be really nice to be able to get to work with you more closely and get to know everyone. I'm happy to be here. I do not have a report, but to say, I did review the GS Developers and the PSI Pumping Solutions contracts for the pump station renovation and found them to be in order, so Leroy will be executing those. Other than that, I do not have a report, but I'm here to answer whatever questions you may have.
Well, that sounded like a nice report to me.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll do reports from committees, starting with administration and finance.
You sure?
No, I'm not sure, but we'll do it anyway.
Okay, thank you. We are in receipt of a check from PennDOT in the amount of $4,928.53. This is the reimbursement, us for the snow and ice control for the state roads within the borough. We received the third quarter franchise fee from Service Electric Cable TV in the amount of $5,679.57. And we are pleased to report that we have reached a tentative agreement with both the police bargaining unit and the non-uniform bargaining unit. The specifics of the agreements will be presented for council approval at the December 7th meeting. The proposed budget will be distributed prior to December 7th for the introduction and preliminary approval at the first council meeting in December. End of report.
Thank you. Building, land, and recreation, Ms. Hall? Ms. Haldeman? J.H.
Thank you. Wow. The tree lighting ceremony is scheduled for Sunday, November 26th at Main Street and Laubach Avenue, beginning at approximately 5:30 p.m. This year's tree was donated by Rob James and appears to be a very nice tree. The event, sponsored by the Historical Society on Sunday, November 12th in the high school auditorium, was a heartfelt event. The names of all the hometown heroes were read in alphabetical order with music interspersed. On Saturday, November 11th, the Joint Veterans Organization held their annual Veterans Day celebration at the Borough's Memorial Lot. They were all thanked for their service and sacrifice. Thank you, and the report.
Thank you, J.H. Code and Police, Mr. Stone.
Yes, thank you. Effective November 1st, weed and grass complaints were no longer accepted by the code enforcement officers. Two representatives of Federal Emergency Management Agency were on site Tuesday, November 7th to inspect and review the inventory from Civil Defense Mobile Hospital stored in various areas of the community center. They appeared interested in removing much of the equipment to another location. End of report.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Stone. Fire and Police, Mr. Donahue.
Enclosed in your packet are the health officer's report ending October 24th and the minutes from the October 24th meeting. Fire Chief Keith Knobloch would like to remind everyone to change their batteries in their smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors to ensure their safety. The fire department will hold their annual Santa run on December 9th beginning at 12 noon. Anyone interested can drop off the gift at the fire station on December 6th, 7th, and 8th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. All gifts should not exceed the size of a shoebox, include the child's name, address, and parent's phone number. The fire police report for October is enclosed in your packet. The fire police ran on 46 calls this month. 212 people responded, including 16 fire calls, 10 NVAs, and 8 special events. And the health department had 11 license renewals. SOBS is now closed. Northampton Seafood is not in operation, is closed. And Main Street Scholars Learning Center plans to relocate. End of report.
Thank you. Public Works and Sewer, Mr. Vlasic.
Thank you. The crew of Public Works Department is busy installing the holiday decorations throughout our borough. A special thank you extended to the Public Works crew for installing the remaining Hometown Hero banners before our Veterans Day celebration. End of report.
Thank you, sir. Any unfinished business? Moving on to new business. Consider request of Police Chief Bryan Kadingo.
For quite some time, there has been an issue at the intersection of Laubach Avenue and Hudson Court. Cars parked too close to Hudson Court, which limits the ability of cars to enter Laubach Avenue. Chief Kadingo suggests placing no parking here to corner sign on the west side of Laubach Avenue, 35 feet north of Hudson Court.
What is the opinion of council?
Make a motion to move forward with it by the recommendation of the police chief.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Mr. Hall? Any questions?
Question.
Go ahead.
I would like the police department and Leroy to look into making that section of Laubach Avenue no parking at all. That would solve the problem, and that would get the school kids back into the lot where they belong. Thank you.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it as written. Thank you. Consider request of the Exchange Club.
The Exchange Club of Northampton is requesting permission to hold their annual Community Days Fair in the Municipal Park beginning on Wednesday, July 17th, 2024, and concluding on Saturday, July 20th, 2024.
What is the opinion of council?
Make a motion
Do you make a motion?
to
Motion
allow
made.
the community day fair.
Motion made by Ms. Haldeman,
Second.
by Mr. Lipsonski. Question?
Question,
Go ahead, please.
will they inform the farmer's market of that week being closed?
Oh, yes.
Okay, thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Consider requirement request.
We have received a request for Mary Ellen Hanlon to retire effective December 31st, 2023. It will be very difficult to replace such a valued member of the team, and I would suggest that the process begin immediately to find her replacement.
What is the opinion of council?
Make a motion to follow through with the request.
Second,
Second.
by Mr. Stone. Any questions?
Questions, do we have to do internal first? Is that how you're gonna proceed that, or is
On something like this, we need somebody who brings already genuine skills to the table.
is there a job description that'll be supplied with this?
Yeah, we do have a job description on that.
And is there planned training for that individual?
Mary Ellen said that she would be available, similar to a part-time person, to come in and oversee the transition.
Okay, thank you.
Beyond December 31st, you're saying?
Yes.
Any other question? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Consider recommendation of the Planning Commission.
The Planning Commission voted and made a recommendation to allow HDPE pipe in place of concrete pipe to be used entering the retention pond in the area of Horwood Drive and Hollow Lane. At a later date, there will be several more items that will need council approval.
What is the opinion of council?
Make a motion to move forward, recommendation of the planning commission?
Motion made by Mr. Glassick. Do we have a second?
Second.
And Mr. Donahue, any questions?
Question, Leroy, can you explain that in more understanding terms?
They are considering constructing a housing development in Allen Township, right where it abuts the retention pond that's already there. The drainage will go into that retention pond, and it has yet to be determined who will be responsible for that, either the borough or a homeowners association. That's still being kicked around. But the subdivision and land development ordinance requires either concrete pipe or metal corrugated pipe, but due to the topography, it would be a whole lot easier to use high-density polyethylene pipe instead. And that's why they are asking for a waiver of the requirement of the subdivision and land development ordinance. I don't see any problem with this whatsoever.
Mr. Glassick, the gentlemen are here from Stonehenge? Stonebridge. They'd like to speak.
Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Scott Pastersky with Keystone Consulting Engineers.
Talk up in your outside voice, sir.
Okay,
okay.
am I too loud or too quiet?
Too quiet.
Oh, really? Okay,
Okay.
I can always go louder. I'm here with Tim Livengood from Stonebridge Meadow, and I, again, with Keystone Consulting Engineers. I'm the site engineer, project manager for the project. At the November 8th Planning Commission was the recommendation made to grant the waiver for HDPE pipe in lieu of the ordinance required concrete or corrugated metal pipe. And that waiver was recommended, as you know. Just recently, a few days ago actually, I did forward a revised waiver request letter because we didn't have a letter at the Planning Commission meeting. We were asked to provide that, which we did. I did want to point out there was one caveat or one tweak that I made to that request that was not discussed because it wasn't thought about at the time of the Planning Commission. The plans currently show HDPE pipe. After doing some further analysis on cost and constructability, we feel a steel pipe is that like a railroad crossing, like Norfolk Southern would do, would actually be a better fit for that pipe. Nothing changes. It would be handled with the jack and bore method as opposed to the directional drilling and things like that. So the revised letter does indicate both ways, that the market conditions might sway us to one or the other. We're thinking now it would be the steel pipe. So I just want to make sure, as this waiver request is considered, that we would like the flexibility to do it either way. Either way, it wouldn't be concrete or corrugated. It would be either steel or, most likely steel, but possibly HDPE.
So that request would need to be withdrawn, solicitor?
Well, I think we have a motion. So could you repeat that request, please?
Sure, I'll just go ahead and read it to be concise.
Thank you.
So we're respectfully requesting a waiver to Saldo Section 215-31D3, which the requirement of storm sewers shall be made of reinforced concrete or corrugated metal. Our justification is that the installation of HDPE piping is proposed and will be installed, if it is indeed HDPE, to pipe manufacturer specifications with regards to required backfill. And then in the parentheses, I note that steel piping may be installed in lieu of HDPE piping via jack and bore method if conditions warrant. And like I said before, our current analysis indicates that conditions most likely will warrant that piping being used.
Okay. I think we have a proposed motion, if I could read that into the record. Motion is made to provide a waiver of the Saldo requirements for pipes made of concrete in favor of permitting pipes made of high-density polyethylene, HDPE, as recommended by the Northampton Borough Planning Commission, and their waivers shall be provided at this time.
So I would think that that needs to be revoked. I'm questioning, it should be revoked and put in there that we would allow HDPE or steel pipe.
Yes.
Okay, so
Mhm.
we don't have that at this time. She just did that. But it can be requested, can it not?
Yes, it can.
Okay.
Okay, I mean, could we formally request that this, I mean,
You can make an oral motion to formally,
Okay, I would like to formally request that that motion be modified to also expand the choices of pipe to include steel piping.
to include steel piping.
Yes.
Okay. So it's HDPE or steel piping.
Correct.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, but I have a question, Leroy. Do you have any questions for that? should go to
No, I
zoning?
don't. The motion was already made and seconded
Right.
just for the HDPE.
Okay, then we
You
do
might
roll.
want to defeat that
Mhm.
motion
Okay.
and make a new
Yes.
Right,
motion
that's
to
what I was
include
thinking.
Yeah.
HDPE or
Steel.
steel pipe.
Okay,
So it's just a regular steel pipe?
A steel pipe like you would see under a rail crossing. I mean, yes.
Can I ask a question too, that is, you went back before about, there's already an existing retention pond, so forgive my ignorance, but there's already a retention pond. You're gonna tap into that one for a whole new development of how many houses, and is that safe and effective to the retention pond that's there for the homes that are there now?
Yeah, we've done an extensive stormwater management report and analysis, and are right at the doors of getting our NPDS permit approved. That existing pond was there, the berm has been there for a while. We did have that looked at by a geotechnical engineer to make sure it was sufficient to handle the increased stormwater that would flow there. So we have and long story short, we have a report documenting its adequacy. And we would have eventually the agency approvals from the Conservation District, the Pennsylvania DEP, and the Lehigh Valley Planning Commission.
You don't have them yet, though.
No, we don't have them yet, but we could make something contingent upon that, because we're gonna need that to do anything, obviously.
Was the steel pipe was approved by the planning commission?
No, the steel pipe is a more recent development.
Okay, so this would need to go back through the planning commission then?
I mean, if that's the process, we'll certainly follow whatever due process we need to.
I would recommend that it go back to the planning commission before it comes back to us for their approval for the steel pipe.
Okay.
I'd like DEP to, my concern is that stormwater issue going back for the, get your approvals on, from DEP and all the agencies that need to look at that.
So we do have a motion on the floor. All those in favor? All those opposed?
all right.
Aye.
Opposed.
Motion's been defeated. Okay.
Okay.
All right, now do we want to move forward with the steel piping? Or do we want that to go back to planning?
That's covered that is in the saldo. You can use that kind of pipe.
It's actually slightly different. Corrugated metal is
Corrugated
a
is different
thinner,
than the steel.
flimsier, kind of old-fashioned pipe, if you will. It's not really used much anymore. The steel pipe would be a thick-walled steel pipe, very solid, very, very sturdy.
If you want to consider permitting it, voting on
Right.
it, you could amend the existing motion rather than, well, you just defeated that one, that's right.
So amend the motion
So
to
it-
allow
remove it or
steel
something like that.
piping.
With the same requirements that it meets the zoning, the DEP and all the other government regulations that requested, as Ms. Haldeman said. So the resolution could be voted on for using steel pipe or HDEP piping, PE, with the understanding that we have to meet the requirements of DEP and any organization that you already have.
We're completely fine with that condition being tagged on.
Yeah, as far as the storm drainage calculations, David Lear was here at the Planning Commission from Lehigh Engineering, and they've reviewed everything as far as the drainage calculations, as far as your comment on that.
Okay.
And this steel piping, it's typically what's used for a boring under a railroad, which is not like, corrugated metal pipe is maybe 1/8 of an inch thick. This is a very heavy
Steel.
wall, thick steel casing pipe. It's what
Thank
the
you.
railroad usually requires.
Okay, I appreciate that explanation. Thank you.
Okay, so,
Oh, this is Tim Livingood, he's the developer.
okay, so we want to put this back? Okay, Ron, go ahead, make a motion.
We did.
Mr. Glassick.
We need a second.
Second.
Second. No, you got it.
Trevor, and Trevor, Mr. Stone, any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, so it passed with Steele.
Thank you.
With getting the passing of the DEP and all
Yes.
the,
Yeah,
yeah,
they
okay.
have to have
I'm sorry,
that.
just want, thank you. Thank
Can I ask a question while we're here? At the planning commission meeting, I personally was away, I wasn't personally in attendance, but I understand the commission did recommend the preliminary plan and final plan approvals for that. At what point in time do we come before this council to, do we need approval, or is the planning commission recommendation sufficient? I would
Well,
imagine.
I don't believe that the planning commission made a recommendation on anything other than the storm pipe.
Okay.
They would need to make they're a recommending body. They would make that recommendation to continue to Borough Council, and then Borough Council would act on it. It might be to your interest to have another sit-down with the planning commission, just to go over, because I know the engineer had a letter that listed some things that would be, the approval would be contingent on all of those items being met. There weren't big items, but we don't have that before us now, so it would be difficult to act on it.
Like I said, I wasn't at the meeting, so I could be missing some relevant facts, but my impression, Tim, you were there.
I was at the meeting, and according to my notes, there was a motion and second, and voted all in favor of the stormwater plan as far as the piping change, and a motion and second and final preliminary plan, final plan approval, all in favor of the plan itself.
I was there too.
I wasn't in favor.
I'm sorry, I don't recall that. I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm just saying I don't recall it.
Okay.
Okay.
Question. Would this whole situation with the way it's branching out be better to be referred back to the planning commission for them to knock the edges off it and then produce
I
a
think that would be the
coordinated plan?
cleanest way. I don't wanna hold you up, but, just for propriety's sake, I think that would be a good solution.
Yeah, we're fine with that. I was of the impression we did get recommendations for those, and maybe I was
well-
missing
We don't
forms.
have that.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't,
Okay.
Are there minutes for that meeting that are public we could check?
the zoning officer he's here.
I'm here. I don't have the minutes prepared yet, but I will have them soon.
We'll come back, no problem.
It was my impression that it was the contingency with the HOA versus who takes over the retention pond.
Okay.
Yeah, that was
That was
a
part of
sticking point, if, I'm not in favor of us taking over that.
It
Project.
has to be part of the preliminary and final plan. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it needs to be separated, if that could be plan approved contingent on the agreement of the HOA or Borough taking it over. It all depends on, because there's a lot of piping that might be going in there irrigation wise. That's one of the things the Borough is worried about having to maintain.
Gotcha. Yeah, I did hear about the discussion, and I have the least credibility since I wasn't there, but could have those things been conditions of the recommendation, or were they not recommended on that? I'm just trying to reconcile the two conflicting reports.
Okay,
Well, I was, and I opposed because I thought there was too many loose ends that needed to be nailed down before we could go. I felt that we would go for final. I was okay with the preliminary, but I felt there was too many loose ends, and that's why I opposed. But, and that's what I guess basically what we're coming down to.
Okay. We'll do some
Okay.
homework and come back, no problem.
okay,
We
Yeah,
wanna
just
follow-
get in touch with Jerry, we'll set something up.
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you for your time. Have a
Thank
great
you,
night.
sir. Moving on to reports from council members, beginning with Mr. Hall.
I don't really have a lot. I did see, a couple things are making progress on the river project and the bridge there. terrain setup. They're doing all they are for their baffles and everything else that they go. Coming home, I saw the tree, the lights up in town, which is always a good look, as well as the trees standing. I don't know if it's all lit, dressed with lights and everything yet, but I see it's getting worked on, so. Season soon to be here, and the town's starting to look good, so that's all I have in the report, and welcome, Stephanie,
Yes, thank you.
welcome,
Thank you very much.
and congratulations, Mr. Pennell.
Thank you.
And a report.
Thank you. Mr. Stone?
Yes, thank you. Welcome, and congratulations to Judge-elect Bryan Pennell. Never had a doubt. Anyway, best of luck to you in your role. I had the opportunity to be on both the committees that, with the bargaining agreement with the police and the non-uniform, and I was quite pleased with the outcomes of both of them. Both were well presented, and again, I'm pleased with the outcome of both of those. Do we have any more information on this, the FEMA with the community center? I mean, where are they they're moving stuff to a new location? Do we know any more about that?
I do not. The Pennsylvania Historical Society was there first. They took a look at what was there, and their largest comment that I took away from that meeting was they don't have anywhere to go with it. Now, these two gentlemen from FEMA came in, and they were excited at what they saw. And they are looking into taking ownership of that and moving it out at their expense, which is a good thing. And that'll free up some space for us and calm people's fears.
It just washes our hands of it then? They take it and that's it?
Yeah, and then we'll be, we'll be clear of it.
It actually is theirs. It's not ours.
Okay.
They used us as a storage shed.
Also, so with the closing of November 1st for the weed and grass complaints, are we opening door for blowing leaves into the streets complaints? Is there a time frame for that?
I am
Because
not aware.
I would imagine there are going to be some complaints of that because it's happening.
Oh, I saw it. I
all
saw
the
guys
time.
sweep everything into the
So,
street.
We should be ready for those complaints.
I'd like to go there with a blower and blow it back in his yard.
Along with dropping off a citation.
They're going to be
Whatever-
saying people that
whatever's in the
complain
way.
that their drains are clogged, right?
Oh, yeah,
And so
that's probably
we're
a
getting
violation
flooded.
of the MS4 program.
Yes, it is.
So, that's all I have in a report.
Thank you. Ms. Haldeman?
Welcome, Stephanie. And congratulations, Brian. I'm not giving your sign back. I'm keeping it.
The collectors are
It
the one
will,
doing
I am sure it'll be used in the future, but a long time in the future. But yes, it's gonna be a collector's item of the greatest judge to sit on Northampton County's bench. I just have one quick thing, and that's about the Christmas contest, just to say that, Councilman Glassick helped me distribute, some of the brochures. We probably put out about 65 to 70. 11 businesses are participating, which we're going to take as a win. That everybody that called me was very excited, has called me. Unfortunately, it's kind of late to say it. Hopefully, if anybody is listening, there was apparently misunderstanding in something that was printed in the paper that the businesses to participate required having a Christmas tree in front of their business. That was nowhere on the flyer, and obviously misunderstanding. The people that called, I assured them there was no need for a Christmas tree. We just wanted to see lights. But we will be, there will be a committee that's been identified to judge this coming week, and we'll make a decision, and those individuals will be there next Sunday to, not this Sunday, the next Sunday, to turn on the lights, along with Mr. Brope. So that is my only thing. Although I agree too, I've seen this leaves being blown out in the street, and it's kind of a disappointing thing to see. So hopefully people will be more aware that that really is not the way to operate, and thank you very much.
You're quite welcome, and congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
She won too, Mr. Pennell,
As did you.
and she worked hard. Yeah, I ran against myself.
Wow. That would have been embarrassing.
That would be quite embarrassing if I would have lost. Thank you.
Thank
You
you.
put a lot of work and effort, and you deserve that win.
Well, thank you. I look forward to 4 more years with all of my fellow council members, and I wanted to be here, so I appreciate the opportunity from everybody that voted for me, all the support I received. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to Mason.
I'll just follow the trend. Congratulations, Stephanie. And welcome, Stephanie, and congratulations, Brian.
Thank you.
And also, I'd just like to add on earlier to what Mayor Prastash was saying. Yesterday, we met with the Northampton Volunteer Club, and we once again are forwarding the Hometown's Heroes project. There, we gave a presentation basically detailing like the groups that we were looking for and what the project was basically going to be about. And we actually had a lot of people that were interested in joining in the project and helping out. Just adding on to that too, we're looking for it to be after school. We haven't determined what day yet, but we're looking 30 minutes to an hour, I believe. And we're just looking to get as many as we can done. We're gonna start after break though. And also, I look forward to being on the what's it called,
Committee.
Christmas committee. Yes, for judging the decorations.
We can let you judge. That is so cool, Mason. Thank you. Mr. Donahue, thank you. Good job on your win. You worked hard.
Yeah.
You deserve it.
I was just
worked
like you,
hard.
running myself, but
You ran against yourself too? Okay, sorry. Okay.
a few things. The 2000 block of Canal Street in front of the landscape place there, Leroy, there's a 10 by 10 section cut in the street. It's been filled in, but it's now sinking. I don't know whose responsibility is that.
Who made the cut?
I don't know, that's the problem. It's right in the middle of Canal Street, right in front of that landscape place in the 2000 block.
Take a look at it.
Yeah, because it's sinking, because I rattled my teeth the other day on it.
Drive slower.
Pick on the street.
There's a streetlight issue up on McKeever Lane. I have the top number for the pole, but there's no bottom number, it's gone. I can give you the address.
That'll work.
It's 414 McKeever Lane. It comes on for like 10 minutes every day and then goes off for the rest of the night.
Is that an LED light?
Yes.
That's unusual.
Yeah, comes on for like 10 minutes and good night. To echo the mayor's response on Veterans Day, that was great to watch, honoring all the veterans up there and thanking every one of them. And thanking Leroy for your time also. And what else I was wishing everybody a happy Thanksgiving coming up. End of report.
Thank you, Mr. Donahue. Mr. Glassick.
Thank you. I do have a few things. I'd like to start on a, again, positive note of welcoming Stephanie and congratulations Brian and all the other council winners for the Northampton area also. And now on the downer side of that, how do we get these signs that people had lost, that they did not pull them off because they're gonna blow around, they're still out there, it's been a pet peeve of mine for years. We should reach out to people in different districts to have them make sure that they're people that were voting or trying to be elected, remove their signs, because they're still sitting around a lot of places. People don't address those issues, and then they just become in the gutters, on the side, and there's wire things that are sitting there too. So, can anybody give me a little guidance here, who to go to?
Look every one of them up and give them
Yeah. All right, I'll do my social media scare for them.
It's the responsibility of the candidate.
Yep.
So contact their campaigns, and if they don't do it in a reasonable time, then contact the elections office.
Oh, that's where I was gonna start with.
Unless they're blue and say no.
I have his number directly.
Hey, winners are allowed to stay up.
I'm sorry, I got his sign. Thank you.
On a very positive note, we talked about how our virtual live streaming was, a little bit moving forward and things like that. And we just had the totals today provided by Mr. Welsko. We were at 152 people attending our Borough Council meetings in person this year, 152. Year to date, we're at 3,615 people that viewed our live streaming for the year to date. That's about an average of 181 people per Borough Council meeting. So I think it's working, to get people more involved in listening to them and taking our notes. So kudos to all the help that you provided with that and to the borough for supporting it. Madam President, I think the band trailer should be looked at for the cost factor more than just eliminating it, because I think we do a
Okay.
great job in, providing assistance to other communities. I agree that there is a cost factor, and I think that's one of the first things we're looking at to increase the cost that makes sure that we're not losing any money.
Okay.
So just thought, but I appreciate you looking at that. Mayor, outstanding comments about the veterans, the military families of our borough, so thank you for that. Congrats to the growth of Mason. I really see that when he came in today. We're talking about different subjects and things. It's nice to see a junior council person that hopefully is our future. As you said, the students in our borough are moving forward also. I agree with Councilman Stone about why no weeds, why, the grass is still growing. We just had 65-degree weather today, and that is part of the leaves and stuff like that. So is it only because of the time of year that we cancel that, Leroy?
Yeah, it's in the ordinance.
Okay. There has been a request that 1825 Franklin Street, or Franklin, is where Gorman Associates are, Lehigh Valley Health Network, and Good Shepherd. There's the old Tama house down there is now apartment complex. And there's 24 parking spots for those residents of the 1825 Franklin building. And they don't have any parking spots when they come in because the people from the apartment house are parking there overnight and not moving their cars. So we do have to address that. I don't know if that's something the police can look into, or if there's no parking, we have to have somebody else address it.
I thought there was supposed to be signage in.
There was, but it got knocked off.
No, but I mean, they were supposed to put up and maintain signage when it went through planning commission, so you might wanna check what they were to do.
Leroy, can you make a note of that?
Yeah, I'll talk with Dan Donnelly. He'd be the first stop.
And that's the owner of the building?
The Tama building, yes.
Tama building, because it's those people that are there. And again, with the winter coming for snow plowing too, because the owner of the building said, if we wanna plow the driveway and we can't because their cars are sitting in there, it makes it harder for his tenants that come in just to look at it, but thank you. Thank you to the police department and the chief for the stopping violations of traffic again. It's been in the 3rd Ward. I've noticed quite a few more stops of people blowing through stop signs, probably aggressive speed. Thank you again for all the work that you're putting into that and your officers. The contracts that we did negotiate for Public Works, and I wasn't in on the police one, but I'm glad that we're moving forward with those contracts and seeing that they're settled and moving forward in the new year. And everybody, I wish a happy Thanksgiving and a healthy Thanksgiving. So, thank you all, that's all.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Mr. Lipsonsky.
Thank you. My time here grows short. There's a lot of things that have taken place in the past. And if you look at the history, you can see they come up again and again and again in a different way by different people, but it's the same issue. So there's a lot of things that need to be addressed that are very hard to address. Welcome aboard, Stephanie. I hope you enjoy this. I hope you have a magic pencil, because Bryan had a real nice one. Congratulations. Congratulations, Bryan, on your win. I hope you do, as I expect and other people expect, a good job, because it does nice and it does great to have people in positions that have ears. Listen. You'll solve a lot of problems if you listen. If you don't listen, you're going to have a lot of problems. But congratulations. I hope you have a lot of success. I think you will. The situation with the grass, with the cutting blowing in the street, I have harped on this before, and I will harp on it for another few days. It is against the EPA. There is a violation there, and you can be cited for blowing grass into the street because it obstructs and creates sewer problems with the draining, with the runoff. So, people think they're nice, that their yard is nice. When you get the citations, and they can be up to $1,000 for blowing it in the street, thank you for your participation. It's nice that you consider the borough and make donations like that. But if you don't want to, how about cleaning it up? Don't blow it in the street is a real good suggestion. It does create problems, and it does have detrimental effects. For example, just for an explanation, if someone's driving down the street at the stop sign, it's a wet day, and they hit their brakes, and there's a lot of grass in the street, and they slide and bang into a car. Now, if the car is occupied, you got a problem. If it's not, it's still a problem. It creates situations that should not be, simply because, oh, look, my yard is nice. I'll blow it in the street. I have been in positions for different municipalities. I don't like seeing green streets. They're not supposed to be green. So use a little common sense and blow the grass into your yard or catch it or do something. If you want, in April, buy a couple of sheep, put them in the yard. In November, you can eat your lawnmowers. So try and prevent that. It sounds trivial, but it's not, because it can cause problems in the sewer system and the drainage system. And if you have any questions about that, ask Leroy. He's been there. He's been down those holes many times years ago. It doesn't change, stays the same. The only difference is it's new. Where else was I going? I forgot. I wish everyone in the community a very happy and healthy Thanksgiving. It's a situation where, remember what the holiday was about. It was about the founding of this country, not what's happening now with the misguided and misinformed people that are yapping around and getting a lot of news coverage. It's not about them. It's about you. It's about the people who started this country, came to this country, and gave this country a distinct personality and advantage. Happy Thanksgiving, and I yield back the balance of my time to the chair.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, do you have any additional?
Again,
comments?
to reiterate, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Enjoy your families, your friends, and all the great food you're going to have this next week. And have some exercise afterwards, too. So, happy Thanksgiving.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Announcements by Mr. Probst.
Okay, Stephanie, welcome to the jungle.
Thank you very much, sir.
It's nice to have you with us. And Bryan, our association was always very good, very professional, but we also had a lot of laughs. I hope you encounter the same results where you're headed. In your material that was on the desk in front of you is a copy of what would be the new police contract, and also a copy of the changes that would be made to the Public Works Agreement. I would like you to take them home, look them over. If you have any questions, give me a call. I can answer any of your questions on those. I would like to get them on the agenda for December the 7th for your approval. I have been reminded by the Solicitor's Office that if you received a certificate of election, you haven't gotten those yet? When you do, please come in the office. I want to make a copy of it, and I also have to send a copy to the Solicitor's Office. Other than that, I have nothing.
Okay, so those will be forthcoming in the mail?
Yes.
Okay.
Madam President,
Yes, sir.
would we be able to address the outstanding bills that have been collected and processed and pay them?
Motion made by Mr. Lipsonski to pay the bills. Do I have a second?
Second.
Who? Now, which one?
Me.
JH.
J.H. Haldeman.
He was all over it.
Stephanie, there's two Judys here.
So, Judy, and we have JH.
J.H.
Okay.
She's J.H. Questions? Mr. Glassman?
No?
Surprise!
Not even about the
And I studied.
I asked you this before the meeting. We're all good.
Thank you, sir.
The meeting, I'm not the solicitor.
You're welcome, Ryan.
There's no questions, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn by Mr. Hall,
Second.
Mr. Stone. Question? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? The ayes have it. Good meeting, guys.